Hello YouTube, in this video I'm gonna be giving to you the art of the language learning journey and the mastery of the English language, or actually this also applies to every other language, and talking styles are gonna be also talked about here. So listen closely, let's get to it, and I'm gonna tell you how do you actually learn to speak a language so fluently that native people in the country are trying to become a citizen of won't be able to distinguish you from the locals. How do you do this? Well, my journey with English language, and because English is the only thing I'm really interested in learning, I'm gonna be talking to you about it. My journey with English language started when I was 9 years old, officially. In the public school system we started to learn this language, and I was pretty good at it from the start, but there were some words I had really hard time forgetting, I had really hard time remembering those words. But I learned, and I was influenced by this language a lot. I watched a lot of YouTube videos while I was young. I watched a lot of anime, I played games, I learned a lot of vocabulary through that. But that's really not enough, That's nowhere, I was nowhere close to being a masterful user of the English language. After that, I started reading books in English. I started actually reading real books like this in English, and I learned so much about words and writing in general. Then I started to write a lot of stuff of my own, fiction, non-fiction. And I used the Finnish language in that. But then at some point I also started to use English language. And I noticed that holy shit, it's so hard to use a foreign language and be creative. But I have gotten a lot better, and I have a dream to be able to write an English, a book, a novel wholly in English. And then I started to do this thing called writing with speech. You can do this with the microphone. This is a very powerful way to learn a language. You need a microphone like this, and you plug it in, and you use something like Google Docs, and you write with your voice in a foreign language. That's one way to practice the pronunciation of the words. You can take your time, and it kind of challenges you and expands your vocabulary and mastery of the creative use of the language, because that's what we are going for over here. This is our main goal. You are gonna learn a language to use it creatively, and I'm gonna give you these exercises over here. Then you might try also, on top of these things, you might try writing fiction. That's a really hard challenge. Write fiction in the foreign language you are trying to learn. Or write anything in that language that is kind of hard to write, needs some creativity in it. Then one of the things I really want you to start doing is start reading the vocabulary, or the book that has your native language and the words corresponding to those words that you are trying to learn in the foreign language. Start to read those books a lot. Read them every day, just look at it, just read it. That's great. Then the next part, the next practice that is gonna take you to this mastery level of the language. Start to speak the language actually to people that that like want to speak to you in that language. You know, it's kind of hard in Finland, I know, because there are so many tourists that speak the English language, but they're mostly kind of like, you know, not very good at it, you know. I'm more of a guy that I would be so interested in talking with Americans. I have actually talked with some Americans and it always goes very smoothly. But I really want to like meet more people who are really good at this language, not just some like tourist from some like country, you know, that like speaks the language kind of iffy, you know. I want to like gain some people that can really help me with this. But the thing I want to like encourage you to do is start a lot of conversations in the language and just use it in like real life situations, but then do something creative with it. Like start making videos on YouTube with the language, start writing in it, as I said before, start reading in the language, start singing in the language, write songs in the language, like holy shit, do everything that can be done with this language. Do every freaking thing that can be done with this language. And then the next and the last part. Learn to talk in a style that is completely your own. Learn to talk the language in a style that is completely your own. Learn to talk the language in a style that is completely your own. Have you ever heard a guy that is a Finnish man to be able to talk the English language like how it sounds so not Finnish at all? Like the guy is not Finnish at all. That's what I'm going for over here. If you really want to learn and you really want to practice and you really want to like master a language, start learning about your talking style. Start learning about how you say actually the words and start learning about your voice in general. Learn how to talk in so many ways, you know. Learn how to talk in so many ways that you can even at some point start to sing in the foreign language that you are learning. That's mastery of this stuff. When you want to become a singer of the foreign land, you know, if you want to be traveling to the Finlandia, something like that. Yeah, it's gonna help you a lot because really, yeah, learning to talk a language is hard in itself, but learning to talk it in a style, it's a completely different ball game, you know. Usually it's this way for me. When I really try to like talk the language with style, I completely forget like what I'm gonna say. It requires so much like this like concentrated power, but actually like using a language and trying to like make it more style, like really like locks you up in the present moment, because the style is what gives the language, you know, it's like communicative power of the human emotion, and emotions are what will keep you in the present moment. So that's the next part of this like thing. Learn to influence with the language. Learn to influence the mental and the emotional state of the people that you are talking to with the language that you are using. That's the next part. That's a meta-communicative like thing, and you should be learning this stuff like even if you are trying to learn a few different languages at the moment. Don't make this language learning this two-dimensional stale type of like thing that you only do to like get by in some country you are trying to travel in. Like try to actually like impress people with your ability. Thanks for watching.